The street, get ready. Lots of good things going on. I want to introduce Kim Hankins, who's the Director of Sustainability and kind of leading our panel this evening. So Kim, come on up.
Thank you, Leslie, and thank you very much, Green Drinks Committee. It's really nice to be here. Again, I love coming to Green Drinks and talking, and tonight I get to bring some really great people here, so thank you both for coming. So obviously you can see, here's our lineup tonight. We're going to get started right away with Sherry Doyle, and I will let you go ahead and introduce yourself in more detail. Okay, and I'll do your...
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. Make sure I'm positioned for the Zoom folks well enough.
You can actually.
This side? Oh,
So you don't have to have the light.
great. That's great. I like that. I'm Sherry Doyle. I'm the director of the Center for Agrarian Learning, and it's really great to be here. When I took this job 4 years ago, part of the reason was because McHenry County has a citizenry that cares about the earth and about the land and about farming as it's connected to all of that. So it is a pleasure to be here. I spoke, I think, during the pandemic online. So that was the last time that I presented to Green Drinks, and we were brand spanking new. An initiative at the college that started really in January of 2020. So we rolled out blazing and quickly went a little dark. So it doesn't feel like it's been 4 years, but it has. So I'm really here to give an update. So if you haven't heard about the Center for Agrarian Learning, there will be time for questions, but to give you a sense of it, next slide. Here's our statement, and I'm going to go ahead and read it out loud. We teach, engage, and inspire food and farm entrepreneurs through demonstrated innovation. Through CAL, that's the Center for Agrarian Learning, students, current and future farmers, and our community can expand their understanding of how food is produced, its impact on the land, and who the change makers are. Right here on campus. Our goal is to support a future food economy in McHenry County that is healthy, innovative, and sustainable. So we have sort of 3 primary areas of impact. And by it sounds cold and harsh. We have 3 groups of people that we support. So there you go. My grant writer head was in there. So ecosystems of impact. MCC students seeking degrees and certificates. This is sort of the obvious one because we're at a college. And when we talk about having an ag program at the college, this is what people think of, is an associate's degree, a 2-year degree, and the degree is called entrepreneurial agriculture. And the reason it's called that is because we are focusing on regenerative agriculture that is growing food for people that is primarily direct marketed. So if you work within the agriculture world and winnow it down to a pretty specific niche, that's what the college is doing. So we teach about business and marketing practices, as well as how to grow fruits and vegetables. We don't have any animals on campus. I've been told we never will, which is kind of a bummer. I have a little pig statue on my desk as a gift saying, there's your pig. But we do match students with farmers off campus for internships if they're interested in learning about grass-fed beef or grain farming, for instance. The second group we serve is current and future entrepreneurs. This is my primary focus as the director, is creating programs that support farmers primarily and food entrepreneurs in the area. And so that's all non-credit. Those are things that sometimes people don't think a college does, but we very much do. It's basically continuing education. And then also we serve a community like yourselves that are invested and curious about the land and food. So I have a couple photos because this is a very short presentation, just a couple more minutes. Go ahead. So these images are the first group that we serve, our students. So on campus, we have high tunnels where we are growing, where they are growing vegetables and fruit. Here is a student being trained on what's called a walk behind tractor. The scale that we're focused on is small and mid-sized farms. We also have a full-size tractor, but this is what the students are trained on. We did a burn in our back field, getting ready to put in some pollinator plots back there as examples on a farm scale, really, for area farmers. And the students were involved in the layout of that, not specifically the burn. We have a produce cooler on campus that year round, we have produce that we're growing sold to employees and students through an honor box there. The second group are entrepreneurs that we serve. These are classes that take place just like any other class. On the right, on the left is our cut flower school. This was a 2-day intensive about growing cut flowers and marketing them for profit. That's also an example. We went outside for part of that 2-day workshop. We had 40 adults attend that, and they could see demonstrations of row cover and trellising. And then we also collaborated with the Organic Seed Alliance, which is a national alliance. They were looking for farms to do a carrot trial. So I contacted them and said, can we do it on campus? And we grew 13 varieties of carrots, tested them, and then invited the community in to learn about which varieties are best. Those are the farmers, and then food people were interested in how they tasted. We also, in terms of community programs, similar to me being here, this is exactly in line with our community programs. We also participate in the farm stroll. I have served on the executive committee of the McHenry County Farm Stroll. It's in late September, free event. 12 farms are featured on that, mostly family-owned farms. Last year, we actually were a farm on the farm stroll, so folks could come to campus. We are partnering on a project called Raíces Latinas with 5 nonprofits in the area, 3 of which are Latino-led, and raising up the contributions of Latinos in McHenry County in agriculture. Sometimes they're overlooked as being a very big part of our agricultural heritage. So those are the types of programs that we're doing within the community. That's all I've got. I should say, if this is sitting in the back, if you know of a farmer or a community member or entrepreneur, please take our flyer and spread the word.
I should have mentioned that we will definitely take some questions, but we have a lot of information to get through. We want to make sure we give everybody time. So hold on to your questions, keep them in your brain. If you need something to write them down with, like me, I've got a pen, I can do that. But thank you, Sherry. It's really been amazing to watch this program grow, and all the, sorry, that's a horrible pun.
No,
I can't believe I just said that. Anyway, sustainability had a really wonderful collaboration a couple of years ago where we put in 4-panel solar panels up by the high tunnel, one of the high tunnels, to power one of the high tunnels. That one, yeah. And I can't say enough about those carrots. They're so good. So okay, we're keeping going with our next speaker, who is someone that you all know very well. Leslie is going to tell you a little bit more about the University Center that's coming up. Ready?
Okay. Get your slide. Yeah, thanks. Food is my favorite thing, but we have something else that's really neat that's just getting started, and you might have heard about it, the University Center. Who's heard of it? You don't have to know anything about it. I'm just wondering if you've heard of it. That's good. And I just want you to know that there are a couple other in the region. College of Lake County has one, and that's been around for over 10 years. Very successful, lots of folks educated through that one. And then also Harper Community College started one, I think maybe 4 years ago. I'm not sure on the timing of that. And we are just going to start one. We have the opportunity to, thank you, here we go. So up in Woodstock, you know where Aurora University had a building for a while, and then they decided that they weren't going to use it anymore. And so I'm not part of all those discussions. Don't hold me to the specifics on that. But MCC decided to partner with other schools to start a university center. That means a place where folks can go locally to earn a bachelor's degree after they've earned an associate's degree or certificates with MCC or anywhere else for that matter. So that's kind of what's neat about it. So the big thing is you don't have to leave the county to earn a bachelor's degree anymore. Yeah, thanks. So this is going to be the insides of it. I haven't been in at all. And what's nice about it as well, because we're focusing on Earth Day, is that we're rehabbing a building. And so it may not have all the bells and whistles of LEED or green building, but to the best of our ability, say again. Oh, no, supposed to, that's all right, yeah. You've got lots to talk about yet. But anyway, so this is what's going to be inside. Lots of classrooms, some office space. That's where our community education program will be. So the non-credit side of the college will be moving there soon from where they are currently. And then classrooms for these varied universities. Thank you. This is some of how the inside will look at some point, we hope, soon. Like this fall when we start classes over there, and it'll be great. That's okay, don't worry. So this tells you a little bit about how the programs were chosen. The idea is to have as many varied opportunities or bachelor's degrees offered as possible, not millions of them or even hundreds, excuse me, of them, but a selection. So there are about 20 at this point, offered by the 4 different universities that we're working on. And again, people would need to apply through that school to get into the program. They would be paying the tuition of that school, not MCC's wonderful tuition price. Okay, the classes will be taught by those university instructors, and everything comes from that university in the end. So thanks. So it's hard to see, I know a little bit, but these are some of the finer details. Financial aid is available as well. I'm not as well versed on that. So, but you can still utilize FAFSA. You've heard about that this spring, I'm sure. And then there will be advising through the universities too, when they're ready. Okay, next one there. And then these are the 4 schools that we're working with. Aurora University. Lots of people, we need them to teach, right? We need nurses. So again, the opportunity to have these programs close by is really great. And if you can't see a Master of Arts in Educational Leadership for principals, okay, also the bilingual endorsements. And then social work is a very popular degree as well these days. And next one, yeah, and a master's in that. Northern is part of it. So 5, and again, these are the typical degrees that our students tend to go on for, and that's part of how this was chosen too, is my understanding. So, so if you can't see it, business administration, computer science, early childhood education, public health and health administration, and psychology. And Roosevelt University is the one, will be there, and they have criminal justice, graphic design, finance, human resources with an MBA option, and a bachelor's also marketing, and then a master of business administration. And one more is SIU Carbondale, and my understanding is they will be adding a little bit to that, and that there may be a 5th school at some point, so that'll be good. I'm giving you little hints about future possibilities, right? I should tell you that I'm representing the very fine Kaylee Harmon, who is actually the executive director of the University Center. She's been the one really working to put all this together on behalf of MCC and working in conjunction with these universities. I cannot tell you how neat it is to hear from a student, wow, I didn't think I was going to go for a bachelor's because I would have to move or I would have to drive or any of the other scenarios that are kind of barriers to continuing education. So if you happen to know somebody that's interested, send them kind of our way. We're getting started. The first cohort will start this fall of 24. Sorry, I've been running 25 a lot today too, papers. And then each fall, a new cohort will start for each of those degree plans. So it's a little confusing, I know, but don't hesitate to ask if you have questions later. And I brought flyers as well to explain a little bit more. So thank you for your attention. And here's Kim.
So as Leslie mentioned, we are rehabbing a building. Obviously, you guys have figured out that I'm telling you the green aspects of these different things. We are rehabbing a building. The building is in extremely good shape, and all the heating and cooling units are very young. So there's no reason for us to spend a lot of money and time rehabbing those. So that's really, really good. Also, we did just some really rough analysis in terms of commuters, and just to commute to Woodstock versus Carbondale makes a big difference. So there are some really nice little perks along those ways. And I've been talking to, it's just an exciting process. I remember when the rumors were flying around the college and everybody's like, ooh, we're gonna have 4. We're like, what? Wait, what? Like, it was just funny because it was something we hadn't really heard about yet. So it was pretty exciting. So we're excited about that. So moving right along, we're gonna move into okay, I'm gonna get this right. The Foglia Center for Advanced. Thank you. For Advanced Technology and Innovation, also known as the CATI building. So Julie Bazer's here to tell you a little bit more about it. So thank you for coming, Julie.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I don't know if I could put this on maybe, like my shirt. Oh, pickles. I lost it though. Down my shirt. Uh-oh. I think I'll just hold it. Okay. Okay. So, as Kim mentioned, I'm Julia Baser, and I am here as you were representing Kaylee. I'm representing CATI. You would usually have Tom McGee. He is the dean of the manufacturing area, but he wasn't able to come. My title is quite long. It's Career and Technical Education Program Development Coordinator, but ultimately what we're I know it's so long. There'll be a test later. What I do though is I'm more on the program side. I'm making sure that the programs for career and technical education, so those students who initially want to go and earn a certificate or a degree where they can get quickly into the workforce, that would be my area. But the most important thing as a college is, do we have programs that are developed to meet the needs of our employers, right? So we think we know what the community needs, but it's not always the case, right? So we ran 10 programs through our program of study this past year, many which will be in the CATI building. And we gained very insightful information from the individuals in the community, whether they're people who have come through our program, people who would employ our students. How can we make our program better? All right, so that is my job. And actually, all of these programs went through program of study just this past year. So the ones that we wanted to focus on, I said, Tom, can I do a David Letterman top 10? Like, because and you'll see, just like everyone else, I am bringing my brochures. It's a big brochure, but I encourage you to take one to learn more about it, because in the time that Kim has given me, I do not have enough time to go through everything, right? So please take this, because I'll touch on a few, but there's a lot more in here as well. What Tom mentioned is that there's 3 that are very important in that they have been expanded. So the automation, robotics, and mechatronics program, that went from just a few classes to a degree. The same thing, so the welding program, maybe you know, it is actually stationed in Woodstock right now, right? That's where we have it, but we're bringing it back to campus and putting it into the CATI building. So we went from 2 certificates to a full degree, and we also included fabrication. So I just put a quick description. I'm like, I don't even know what fabrication is, right? I have an MBA. I don't have a welding degree. So I'm like, what is fabrication? But it was really interesting. So basic welding is you're taking parts and putting them together, but fabrication is taking raw stock material to create an end product. So it's taking it one step further and giving those students an additional opportunity to learn different skills. All right. CNC precision machining, very important in our area, right? In our community, has gone from a few classes to a degree. And then who knew what they wanted to do when they were 18? Raise your hand. Right? I mean, I have 3 young people. I have 3 boys. I go to church with many people here. They know them. They're 21, 18, and 15. And to ask them, what did you want to do at 18? I don't know if they're giving me the right answer. So in any event, we're trying to help those students, those potential students who are unclear of what they want to study. They're like, I know I want to go into manufacturing, but I'm not sure what. Welding's interesting, robotics is interesting, I don't know. So we said, hey, how about this manufacturing essential certificate, which gets you started? So it could be a starting point of all 3 of those programs, and then ultimately they could branch off into the one that interests them the most, okay? Now, if I could have like special effects, like confetti would fall from the ceiling here, because we offer HVAC. Yay, I know, it's so exciting because, and Molly will know, there's students that are in our county that have to go to different colleges because they can't earn the certificate or the degree that they want here. So HVAC is one that they're offering, and they'll no longer leave McHenry County. And it's a new program, certificates and degrees. And I know, Leslie, you met Al Lewandowski, I think is his last name. He is neat guy, and he's a talker. That's why he and I, good teacher, yes, he and I get along very well. We're both talkers. So he is our new HVAC full-time faculty. So Tom has done all of the legwork to get this program up and running. Then we hired someone with an extensive amount of experience that will be such a benefit to our students, because he's a good person, but he also knows what he's doing, right? And there are already students enrolled in this program. And the beauty, and I'm not standing in the camera, I'm sorry. The beauty is, I was talking to him today, he said, if students want to come out of MCC in a semester and be able to earn a job in HVAC, they can. I'm going to get the base certificate, they can be done in a semester, they can leave and start working, earning a wage that they can rent an apartment here in McHenry County. Now, the beauty of program of study, the job that I really have full time, is we're developing those programs. And ultimately, you want entry and exit points. So a student can come, earn their basic certificate, their HVAC, with Al, and they're like, oh, I was a refrigeration, now I want to go into air conditioning. They can come back, right? And they can keep earning different certificates that build on top of them, including all the way up into that degree. So it gives them lots of opportunity. And then, as Leslie mentioned, if they would like to say, hey, I'm interested in management, they can go to our university center and earn their 4-year degree. So they can do it all here in McHenry County. All right, so that's the programs that Tom thought we should talk about. And then if we could go to the next slide, let me get a drink of water. Yes, Lee.
Is there a requirement for how many people have to be in class for the whole class?
There are minimums, but we watch those very closely, and I think we already have enough for the first cohort of HVAC. Enroll, yeah. So Dr. Gabbard, I don't know if I can say this, but he's like, Julia, we need butts and seats. So we're building this amazing, these programs and this beautiful building that you'll see here, and which is a big part of the pictures here. But it's nothing if we don't have students, right, Lee? So ultimately, that's why we're here. We want to spread the word, because there's all sorts of opportunities within McHenry County. Don't leave, right? You don't have to leave. Stay here. Okay, so, and I'm sorry you can't see because up there because of the names, but it's all right. This is additional programs that are available not to just our students, but also to the community members involved. So number 1 is the capstone internship and joint capstone. That is just for students, but a capstone class is, the initial class, they'll make the widgets, single widgets. The capstone is you make multiple widgets, you put them together, and they can function together. Joint capstone would be those 3 programs, those manufacturing programs. They would do a project together. And Tom likes to call it the MCC branded Traeger grill, which again, didn't know what that was, looked it up, but it has, they would weld it, but then they also need robotics and automation, right? To make sure they run the heating system of it. So that would be a joint capstone class. This is the exciting part for the community members. We have what is going to be called a MCC Makers Lab. And as I mentioned to the table over there, I'm a corporate America dropout, and I used to be in R&D, research and development, over at Medela and McHenry, and for a long time. And we had lots of really cool tools, 3D printers, all sorts of things you could play with. But when, once I left, I can't go back and play with those. But now I will be able to do those things at FCC. So we have this Makers Lab designed to provide students and faculty and community with space that provides hands-on access to technology tools to help with creativity, collaboration, innovation, curriculum, and integration. So I Googled it. It's previously, they call them fab labs, hacker or maker spaces, but it's your DIY spaces where people can meet to create and invent new things and use the equipment. So we'll have a 3D printer, the embroidery, sewing machine, all sorts of neat things. Tom likes to call it, hey, you'd like to start an Etsy shop, but you don't know what you need? Come on over to our campus, use our tools, and you can try them out. And then the final thing would be an incubator lab. And this is for startup businesses. It's designed to provide a collaborative space for startup businesses. So you could provide opportunities for networking, prototype, design development, and meeting space. It's like this on steroids, right? So that is I know I was limited in time and I probably went over because like Al, I love to talk. So I apologize. But this is some basic information about what's going on at CATI. There's a lot of great things happening for our students. We want to have programs that help these students get into the workforce as fast as they can and, make a living wage. That's the most important thing. So, but then have opportunities to do other things and grow as they continue on in their employment. So with that, these are in the back. And I will stay to answer as many questions as I can. If I don't have the answer because I'm not Tom, I will make sure I get the answer for you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julia. So I am going to tell you a little bit more about CATI. So I know you can't read this. It's not intentional, I promise. I'm happy to share this, but this is the lead checklist for CATI. And I want to highlight just a couple of things. So Julia just mentioned the Makers Lab and the the Makers Lab and the Innovation Lab. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry. That's helping us get these points right here, this innovation points. And there's one more thing that's really, really cool. And I'm so excited. There's a geothermal teaching well. So I'm so excited about that. So that all of those things are helping us get all of those points. I'm just going to tell you about a couple other things that are really not all that glamorous, but actually kind of cool. So there's some heat island points over here somewhere. And the reason why we're getting those points are a couple things. So first of all, it's what's called a cool roof, but also the heating and cooling is in a separate concrete tower. It's actually not on top of the building. It's in its own concrete thing, technical term thing. And so that keeps two things. It keeps the vibration down. So it's all contained in that concrete apparatus. That's not the right word. Anyway, it's a tower. It's a tower. Thank you. It's all contained in there. And then any heating and cooling loss, again, will be contained in there. So that's kind of fun. I mean, I hadn't really learned much about that until a few days ago. Outdoor water use reduction, we're getting those points. We will have a detention pond, but that detention pond is going to drain behind the softball field. So it's not leaving the campus. It's going to go back to our water table, which is really nice. So here's a place where we're not getting all the points, but it's okay. Julia mentioned we have a welding lab and a CNC lab and an HVAC lab. So you can do the calculations about what the energy bill is going to be for this building. It's going to be pretty intense. So we are getting some carbon offsets because the equipment is extremely high energy, high efficiency equipment, but we are not able to go after green power. We're not going to do solar. I'm hoping at some point I can talk us into purchasing some green power somewhere down the line, but we need to get everything built and rocking and rolling first and see what we're up against. So there is a little bit of an issue with the energy, but it's okay because we're going to put all those things in one place and it's going to function extremely well. And so I know, again, I'm sorry you can't read this really well. We are going to definitely get silver. I have my fingers crossed for gold. It doesn't look like we're going to get gold. One of the problems is, as I know all of you know this, is the costs of materials have just gone crazy, right? Completely crazy. And I know a lot of colleges are facing this too. So the materials thing has been an area, obviously, where we've been struggling. Happy to let Molly's here too. She can expand on that if you want to, but it is just, it's a tough area. So well, at least we'll get silver, so that will be good. That's all I have on CATI, but I wanted to give you a couple quick things for Sustainability Center, and then we'll open up for questions for all of us, okay? No, I don't, no. So the Green Guide, yay, the Green Guide's done. Green Guide 2024. We have some copies. I made some copies just for this group. So there's some copies on the table. Thank you. Jessica's waving them around. They will be online. Actually, I think it is actually already online, but the printed copies that are 100% recycled content paper and vegetable-based soy ink or vegetable-based ink will be ready in my office. 3,500 copies will be in my office on Tuesday. So we send out copies to every municipality and every library in the entire county. Thank goodness for my student worker. And we put that together. We also translate it into Spanish. And this year we're actually doing a translation into Polish too, which is kind of fun. So we won't be sending out the Polish one. That'll be by request, but we do send out copies of the Spanish one. So pretty excited about Green Guide this year. The green restaurant, the cafe was certified again for our green restaurant certification, which is good. We are still implementing, I think I've told you guys this before, and some energy management software. I had no idea how many bills the college gets when I was like, yeah, let's do this. I mean, it's just mountains of bills and account numbers and meters and stuff. So it's taken us a little while to get that going, but I'm hoping I'll be able to tell you guys more about that at some point. Basically, it's just now that we're going to be closing the welding center in Woodstock. We'll be opening up CATI, so we'll have a whole new set of data, which will be great to really be able to watch that very closely. And then we're NICOR, ComEd. We have we work with Mid-America right now for one of our suppliers. So there's just a lot waste, water. We're watching all the water come on campus. There's a lot of numbers flying around, but I'd be happy to share that with you. I think I told you guys that we're not doing the Green Living Expo this year because there's too much going on in the beginning of November this year. So we're taking a little break, but we are going to do Planetpalooza in the summer. So we'll get some, next time we do announcements, we'll tell you more about that. So I had one more thing, and then I promise I'm stopping. Really, really cool thing happened. And it's only really cool because I think it's really cool. And it only took me 8 years. We got the single-use plastic water bottles out of the vending machines. So excited.
This is really, really cool.
Isn't it? Okay, see, this crowd appreciates it. No one else appreciates it. You guys do. Oh, it took me 8 years. Piece of cake.
There you go.
I just hit my 11-year anniversary, so who knows what I could do. Oh, right. They did. There are it's canned water now. We can't have any water, unfortunately. And the water used to be $2, and the cans are $1.25. So that's cool. It's much cheaper, so that's kind of fun. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking, and we're happy to take lots of questions. And this is just a tiny little glimpse of all the bajillions of things going on at MCC. So we could talk for days, and Jessica's first, and then I'll get you. We can talk for days, but please go to our website, and there's lots of materials on the back, and we'll be happy to answer some questions. So Jessica.
I have a question about the Makers Lab. This is really exciting, and it's something that a lot of public libraries do.
Oh,
How is MCC charging for it? Is it a credit that you just
It's
buy?
free.
How does it work?
it's free.
It's free. for
Yes.
the
Yeah,
community?
I have a follow-up to that. Someone said, can nerdy science adults gain access through a membership or continuing education classes that open to any?
How does
So-
it work?
So that I don't have the information for, but what I will do, and I'm pretty sure it's free. I think anyone can come, but let me get more information. I'll provide it for the next green drinks. What is the meeting date of the next one?
First Wednesday of the month.
Perfect. So if I can't make it, I'll make sure I get the information to the person who can be here, and we'll get more information about that. Great question.
Question for Kim.
Okay.
Has the college looked into a subscription for one of the most local community solar farms that are going up in the county?
The answer is yes, and not right now.
Okay.
So.
Question just.
Oh, to repeat the question is whether or not the college had looked into subscribing for some of our energy through one of the community solar farms. And the answer is yes, we have looked at it. Well, we looked at it about a year ago, so it's something we definitely need to keep looking at all the time. But at the time, the answer was not right now. So hopefully soon. Wait, you had. Oh, I wish you hadn't asked me this question. So we are going to put in That's right. The bottled water, focus on the bottled water. Yes, we still have really, really wonderful donor that gave us 4 charging stations, and I have a grant that gave us 4 charging stations. And they're all sitting in my office because it's going to cost us about $50,000 to install them, because we have to create more energy or more electricity and boxes and wires and stuff that I don't do. Yes, it's going to happen. It's not dead. I've sold that today. Oh, don't worry, Kim, it's not dead. Like, I didn't even know it was going to die. But anyway, I'm hoping soon. I wish I had a better answer for you. Yeah.
So there's geothermal?
Yeah. There's,
What does that look like?
I wish I knew. I've been trying to get a picture of what that's going to be all about. I know it's a class. I'm sorry, the question was about what the geothermal lab. I just know that there is do you know any more about the geothermal?
I don't, but
Okay.
I'm gonna get a pen out.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get some more. I don't, because the building is still under construction. I don't really know exactly what it's going to look like. I know they are going to drill an actual well on the campus somewhere so the students can actually interact with it. It's not just going to be all virtual. It'll be actually physical.
Is that part of the HVAC training?
Yes.
Okay, so it's part of the HVAC training.
Yes. Lloyd.
Exciting stuff going on. Congratulations to the college. In terms of some of the manufacturing programs, feedback, are any affiliated with apprenticeship programs? Coordinate and credit as they're taking classes?
Yes, so the question had to do with the manufacturing programs that we're offering and whether or not we are linking them to apprenticeships. And we do have apprenticeships that already run. The group that is in charge of apprenticeships is actually workforce development, who is out at the Shaw Center. But I did meet with Catherine, who is the vice president, or I don't know her title, but she's the leader out there. And we have had as many as 15 students running at a time. We're at about 6 right now. One thing she mentioned, and something I didn't even think about, is right now with the election year, manufacturers and companies are not as keen in bringing on growth in new programs. So she feels that once we get through this election year, things might stabilize a little bit, because she said from the manufacturing standpoint, they're seeing reduction in workforce and having to lay people off. So they're not necessarily interested in growing those type of options. But I can tell you that our CAO, Arlene, who is my direct manager, she is very interested in growing not only apprenticeships, but also internships. In CTE, we call that work-based learning. And there's so many opportunities to do it. And we'd like to get students involved in that more. You're welcome.
And you can stay there.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no. I'm like, you're making me sweat. I know.
Actually, it's right along the same
Okay.
line of questioning. There's an organization in McHenry County called the Manufacturing Consortium. Are you familiar with them at all? And have you had any conversations with them?
Manufacturing. Okay. So the question was, there's a McHenry County Manufacturing Consortium, and I believe that would be with workforce development, Catherine.
So it is through the college, or at least
Through work, yes, with Catherine. Yes, we are. Yep. So so there's a big manufacturing breakfast that we have every fall. That group is the one that runs it. So it's different from the credit classes and these programs, right? But that would be their group or their area, if you will.
So that's the group that has high school apprenticeships over the summer.
Yes,
It's a summer
exactly.
apprenticeship program.
Yes.
That I think that a collaboration between the two of you, working with those same kids, going right into your program then after high school, would be ideal.
Absolutely. And that's why I had that great point, Heather. That's why I had that meeting with Catherine 2 Fridays ago, right before spring break, because we want to collaborate more. I think, I don't know if I should say this. When you look at a community college, there's a division, right? There's a division of, these are my transfer students. These are my career and technical education students. We would love to see that not be divided and have them be more together. So it's something we're working on, because students might, I'll just leave it at that. It's something we're working on.
Big umbrella.
Big umbrella, yes.
Yeah.
One-stop shop, yep. Yes, Molly?
Oh.
Which one's Sherry?
Oh, sure. Yes.
Beer, let's talk beer.
Thanks for bringing that up, Molly. Oh, yes, there was a question about the hops and where we can drink the beer. So to fill folks in, on the MCC student farm on campus, we are growing hops. And we did our first harvest in the fall, and Holtzlager Brewery in Woodstock took the harvest and made 2 different types of beer, actually, which we were shocked to get that much in the first year. The first beer is called wet hopped, and that has to go straight from harvesting to beer making within 24 hours. So that beer came and went. The other beer was made with our dried hops, and it's called Agrarian American Pale Ale. I should have brought the can. I literally just saw the can today. Here's the great thing about the collaboration is, you know, we grew the hops on the student farm, ag students involved in that. The design students took up a competition to design the label. The culinary students will be serving it in the Tartan Bistro this semester because it's ready to go, and that restaurant on campus is open on Wednesday nights and Thursday nights. But you can definitely just go into Holtzlager in Woodstock across from the Jewel and buy 4 packs. They're the nice 16-ounce that's trendy now. I don't quite get it. I'm fine with 12, but a lot of people want the bigger beer. So thanks for asking.
Yeah, let me just add one thing to the beer story. I went a couple weeks ago. They honored the student that did the design, which is really cool. I happened to be at Holzlager. He's only 19. He couldn't even have a beer.
Go ahead.
I was just recently reading in the Land Conservancy newsletter about agroforestry.
Mhm.
They've got some stuff going on
Mhm.
with that. And I was just wondering if that's something your organization has thought about, or what your thoughts are on it, if it has any kind of a future and what that future might be.
Well, I hope it has a future. The question was about agroforestry, and it's a particular type of practice or system, really, of growing food. And the Land Conservancy of McHenry County has an agroforestry demonstration site, which is really young and being developed. So they've hired someone to manage that. So I would guess in maybe a year, folks could look at it. Agroforestry is basically farming with trees, like integrating trees into the production system. We have talked a lot about doing demonstrations at the college. There's an amazing group, if you don't know about them, called the Savannah Institute. They work throughout the Midwest. They do amazing projects. So we were talking about bringing these practices. So if you can imagine an orchard, for instance, laid out with rows of trees, but maybe the trees are a little further apart so that you can plant wheat in between them. Or maybe the trees are a little closer together and you can run your sheep and graze them underneath the trees. So you're growing multiple crops, but incorporating trees because in part of the ecological benefit of trees, which we all know about. The monetizing potential of those systems is being researched. So the Center for Agrarian Learning brought the Savannah Institute last year to talk about commercialization of hazelnuts and chestnuts. So those are the first 2 tree products that are native and not hybridized as much, a little bit with the chestnuts. And they're looking at making those commercially viable. From our perspective, with entrepreneurial agriculture, we contain our programming to things that are commercially viable or are being studied as commercially viable. So I was very happy to bring the Savannah Institute in, but right now we're not going to train people in agroforestry until that proves out.
Is that the same as a food forest?
Not quite. Yeah, a food forest is a little more like, I liken it more to permaculture. And agroforestry has is less mixed together. There's a little less diversity in my examples that I've seen in agroforestry than there is in a food forest. So you're right. Brenda's bringing up a great point, because I think what the McHenry, I think what the Land Conservancy is doing is a little more similar to a food forest. Yeah. So that's multiple crops, annuals, perennials, and trees all together in the same system. Yes.
Sherry, go ahead. So do you do indoor farming, year-round farming?
We do. We do hydroponics and then aquaponics as well. Yep.
My question is about the products that you have in the refrigerator in the college. Is that open to the public?
It is open to the public. So we have two things that are open to the public. One is the cooler. If you know where the cafeteria is, the B building, you can just walk in there and pay with a QR code or pay with cash. If you don't come Monday through Thursday, you'll probably miss out because it's sold out by Thursday, cleaned out on Friday. It is geared, it's focused on our employees and students. We also have a pop-up farm stand in the cafeteria July through October, once a week, 1 day a week, where the students get a real sense of what it might be like to sell at a farmer's market. But you won't see us showing up at any farmers markets because we don't want to compete with area farmers. It's a completely subsidized situation. So I would love for you to come and buy from the pop-up farm stand, but I'd love even more if you would go and purchase at your local farmers market.
What about the flowers? Let's talk about the
Yes, flowers are also available. Yes, in a cooler. There's also an honor box, and that is near the greenhouses. So if you see the greenhouses when you're driving near campus, there's an entrance right there, and we have a cooler with again, a QR code or cash. And I think those are designed by students. But the thinking part was, I think they are stocked once a week. Yes. Yeah.
Because the horticulture department will accept.
Yes. So
There's a little box near where the flowers are.
right. If you come to buy a bouquet, you're not buying a bouquet wrapped in paper. You're buying a bouquet in a vase. And so you can bring that vase back. There's a cart there to bring the glass. Sure. Yeah. Thanks. I'd have to look it up.
Great job, Jerry.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other questions for this really wonderful panel of people? Well, thank you. Oh, yep, go ahead.
General question. So if someone lives across the metro line and they don't have a car, where on the metro line can they get off where they don't need a car and they can go to classes?
Yep.
Morning, noon, and night.
The noon part is a little tricky.
Yeah.
I actually been working on this quite a bit lately because we've been working with the McHenry County Department of Transportation. So first of all, there is a fixed route that goes from the Crystal Lake train station to this college. It runs 6:30 in the morning till about 9:30 in the morning. And it's a bus route. It's a PACE bus. And then from about 3 in the afternoon till about 6. Now, those hours are horrible. And we're trying really hard to expand those hours for that fixed route. We also have a MC Ride program for students with an EDU email address that they can request a ride to and from MCC from their home or from their job. And it is free for students as long as we still have money in the pot, which we have plenty right now. And the tricky part is that students can only, basically the general public can only reserve those rides 2 days in advance. So the seniors and disabled population have 7 days in advance to reserve those. So lots of times those times are already blocked. Another thing we've been working on really hard to try to loosen that up a little bit, and now with the University Center coming online, we want to try to talk to PACE about maybe even just having a loop. So it's definitely something we have been focused on a lot. We're working a lot with student services and those guys to see what we can make that a little bit smoother process.
It surprised me a little bit that they built MCC during the 70s when all the Clean Water Act and everything else was coming without public transportation, even though the metro.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's sort of out of, I mean, that's a municipality has to make that call for the transportation, but I totally hear you and I'm completely on the same page and we're going to try to do, I mean, I have a student that I've been working with a little bit. She lives in a shelter. She can't get to MCC. There's not a way for her to get there unless she can do the MC ride, but it's booked a lot of the time from where she comes. So just stuff like that, the little glitches here and there. And another student in Hampshire couldn't get to MCC because they're out of the district. They're not in the county. They're actually out of the county. So it's just like little glitches. We're trying to figure out all that stuff and work through it. But thank you for bringing that up. Did you have a question or are you stretching?
Where does the panel see the college in 5 years? As a four-year college, technical college, or?
You want to go first or you want to go first?
From a career and technical education standpoint, again, we want to create degrees and certificates where students it's entry and exit points. So they can come and start with us, they go work, they're like, hey, I want to come back. And then ultimately they could use the university center to finish their 4-year degree. So from a career and technical education, we are still geared toward the certificates in the 2 years. I can't speak for the rest of the college.
Sure, do you want this 5 years from now? It's hard, but.
Yeah. Well, we want to expand our collaboration. So we've got the MCC students, right? We want to push forward both of the other 2 portions of what we're doing. Actually, I also get told by Dr. Gabbard, butts in seats. And so, but in my mind, the way we get more butts in seats in our degree program, obviously partnering with high schools, we have 2 FFA clubs in the county, but it's also by reaching our community, because it really is by word of mouth that people start to trust the program and have confidence in it and want their children or you know, younger people to sign up for the degree program as well. So we're just going to try and get food and agriculture into the community, partnering with the food shed, you know, as many partnerships as we could work out. You know, Zach has been a wonderful partner as well and is a huge supporter of our farmers. So I feel like the county is ripe for even more of that kind of partnership.
I love this question because it's always fun for me to think about the program from 5 years. And I think about where we were 5 years ago and how we've gotten sustainability. I know there's 2 areas that really are focused on that are going to take a long time to get going. And that's that energy management software, making sure that's running, really being able to very, very closely monitor our energy usage, catch issues, be able to deal with things right away, find waste, all that stuff. The other area has been working a lot with faculty and identifying sustainability that's already within the curriculum and helping students to find that. My goal eventually, again, this is probably definitely 5 years away, is to have students be able to do a concentration, whatever they're studying. So if they're studying math or science or whatever, they can take certain classes that have a sustainability component within them. So something that we're focused on too. So thanks for that question, Zoom person. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, our speakers. They're really wonderful.